some momentum in DPC.
I mean, if they can beat VP, that's going to be enormous for them. Like, this is a team that's been together a lot longer than in comparison to EG, who did have their change-ups, and people were still like, oh, they're going to cross VG, like, what's happening? And then the opposite happened. So I think if they can actually take out VP when they have their full 5 roster like this.
Yeah, I want to bring that up as well, because Blitz said earlier on, didn't he? They're still one of those teams, like Na'Vi, they've still got to beat a really big team to prove that they are arrived, they have arrived, and they are a real threat. Here's a great opportunity, isn't it?
It's the opportunity. I mean, I think I'm trying not to get too excited about this team because it is a Chinese team in January. Like, you expect, the Western teams are all coming off this big break. You do expect the Chinese teams to look a little bit ahead right now. That's just
Jeremy,
a fact,
Jeremy, if you're watching, Jeremy Lynn, if you're watching, this is Alan Hazd. Please follow him on Twitter. Give him as much grief as you like.
But here's the thing, right? This is the kind of roster that the Chinese teams have put together these kinds of rosters before, and they've generally been very, very bad, where you have you have at least 2 super famous cores in Siler and Yang, 2 of the most highly regarded players in China for a long time. Kama is very, very well thought of as a mid player. He's come up through the eHome organization initially and then went through the VG developmental teams. But then Fade and Io have just come out of nowhere.
The craziest.
It is hard to play support in China when your cores are famous and you are not. But these guys have looked really, really good.
And I was super impressed with Io at first. This was before Galaxy Battles. This is when we first saw him playing. I was like, wow, this guy's actually having some really big impact on his games. And then now Fade just like blew it up out of nowhere.
And they just let him have first phase like it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, no. So the Fade Tusk is actually the most played player-hero combination so far in this patch.
Yeah. But we're now in best of 3s, Alan. So if you're going to give it away in game 1. See if you can beat. Right?
Yeah, for the Lycan, that is.
Yeah. I think Lycan is kind of he's on that tier with.
Is he
Elder
in the
Titan.
broken list? Is he borderline broken in?
I think he's broken. I think he's broken in for sure. Broken in 5K plus pubs. I think he's potentially broken in pros. Like, if you look at the level of regen, like he in lane early on, he gets 2 levels in Feral Impulse. He gets that early ring of health, and all of a sudden he's like sitting there in lane at like 5 minutes with like 10 or 12 regen. Yeah. And nukes absurd. At that point in the game are doing like 150 damage. And so it's like you nuke him, and he's got that HP back 10 seconds later. Yeah. What are you supposed to do?
It is absurd. I mean, the Dominator just works. That build is absurd on this hero now. And yeah, like you said, we've been seeing it. I've been playing a lot of like these like high pubs, and it's actually, when you see Lycan, it's actually like, this game's over. Yeah. The hero is absurd lately in these games.
And the funny thing is that there used to be a lot of heroes that would kind of scale that way in lane, but it wasn't as important because as the game goes on. But now that like every source of regen in the game scales with stats, Lycan has one of the best strength gains as well. And so this regen that he's getting early and from his passive is scaling into the late game to a much greater extent than it did before.
And then his talents. Then you don't have to worry so much, because it used to be the problem was you pop shapeshift, you don't get anything out of it. You're kind of in a weird spot. Now you pop shapeshift, it lasts forever. It lasts like the entire duration of these fights. And he forces objectives. He can actually, he gives you so many different things. Not only just the lane thing that you're saying, he forces these objectives. He always will give you the Roche for your entire team. Always will give you building takers, and then Wolf Scouting. Wolf Scouting actually is incredibly big in all these games.
Yeah, I mean, you go all the way back to the Manila Major, and the biggest play of the Manila Major 2 years ago was Matumbaman providing vision with his Slark for that ridiculous mind control rabbit. It's just when you get these vision providing heroes, that can be so significant.
All right. So this is a great ban here by Thunder, the 5th ban, the Terrorblade. That's the one that we talked about as the best, because you get the you get the reflection and you get the damage bonus from the Lycan on the Terrorblade. So it is incredibly good versus it. The other ones that we've seen people do a bit was like Sven. We're just talking about, I'm talking about just carry, I guess, for now. They already have the Tiny that could go anywhere. We've been seeing the Tiny go offlane a lot of the time. So this is a pretty flexible lineup right now from VP with that. I also love this too. Paul, we got to witness this when we were in Bucharest the first time when ROTK he's like, get up, my chair.
Oh yeah,
I love that. It's actually so funny. Cracks me up.
But I mean, it's,
and they don't seem to mind.
That's been his personality, though.
Yeah, they don't seem to mind too much. I mean, I don't know if they're even at the point where they could probably argue with him.
No,
at this point, they're like, yeah, he's the boss.
Yeah.
Do you want to argue with him? I mean,
no, I wouldn't argue with him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I heard him yell at those guys in Bucharest as well. Remember that?
Yeah,
we heard him down the hallway.
Goodness. We were walking down the hallway, and we're 2 rooms away, by the way, at that point, and he set back inside the main hall room.
Yeah.
And we still heard him as if he was shouting in our ears next to us.
Oh, I was
so loud.
I wish I could remember what event it was. I was in an event where No Tail was scrimming in one room. I think it was with Fnatic, and ROTK was scrimming in another room.
There was 2 different, there's 2 tournaments.
Yeah, no,
there was a Summit, and then there was a D2CL in Vegas, was it?
Yeah.
We had the other one with ESL One Frankfurt, where they were all in the practice areas, and they were all open. But ROTK thing were the furthest team away in the corner, and they were still disturbing teams who were at the front.
All right, so back to this draft, because this is an example of
quick picks
of 2 picks that the Tiny and the Puck that are so scary for Virtus.Pro because they're both flex picks. The Tiny they can run with Ramses in the safe lane, or they can run at mid. The Puck, no one's Puck is still like terrifying to me. No one plays Puck like other people play like a Viper or a Razor. Like, he gets in your face as Puck and just says, what are you going to do about it?
It's just this Puck is versus Dazzle, so one of the best.
Yes.
You always are able to just, if you can just find this hero, you either burst or that silence. You can
By the way,
the grave.
This Earth Spirit is Fade's 100th Earth Spirit again. 100?
Oh, that's mind-blowing to me.
Nice.
Actually, that is mind-blowing to me already, that he's at 100.
Crazy, isn't it?
Because this, Faye and Io they don't have much of a history on the pro scene.
No.
But that's the thing. VG, it's a little surprising to me. VG.Thunder has gotten away with. They have a very condensed support hero pool, but it's we were talking about earlier. It's just sort of just big enough that you can't quite ban it out.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that Dazzle opener? I'm still very in question.
I don't particularly like it, but
it's an IO hero though.
Yeah,
so
that's the one thing. It is his hero, but they did to just grab it in the first 2. Like, I would expect the Earth Spirit, if anything, to be grabbing the first 2 before that. But
yeah, that's the thing. He's good with the hero, but he's better with the Disruptor, right? I think that they didn't. I think one of the big things when they're thinking about Disruptor is if they know that if they Disruptor, VP is going to come back with Omni.
But he's also a fairly safe opening pick, like that. They don't want to pick another core there.
Yeah,
so
of course.
They go, well, okay, let's pick a support, which is the least obvious one.
So the thing the place I would really like the Dazzle is if they came back with something like a DP here. Because the save on a Lycan is okay, but it's not super impactful. Like, you need it, to me, you need another core where the Shallow Grave is going to be super impactful. Not sure. Okay, so obviously the Doom is pretty clearly for the Puck.
Yeah. I haven't seen a lot of Yang play Doom though.
Oh, Yang Doom's a classic. Man.
Yeah,
Yang Doom goes way. Oh God, he's so good.
Not recently anyway. Well,
no, not recently, but he's so good on this.
He's still his 4th most played actually under the last patch. So
I don't feel like their draft has that much like things that bring them all together though right now. It does feel a little, it does feel a little awkward for me.
I'm kind of waiting for, I've been waiting, as you just suggested, for the pick that's going to make me go, oh yeah, that's why they picked Dazzle.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it yet.
I was thinking Medusa or Death Prophet. Now the Medusa is taken out.
It's 2 good saves though.
Medusa would be really good. I'm just at a loss for why I don't think that's the hero.
No.
I think
not the one I was expecting.
There's
not really crazy disables on VP right now though. It's Puck and Tiny.
But no one knows this. No one knows this laning matchup. If it does end up being Puck versus Storm, like, no one knows that laning matchup so well. I'm actually quite scared for Kama here. Like, no one plays this matchup. He doesn't care what level the Storm is. Like, he will play in the Storm's face.
Of course.
The whole time.
And they have an inch, so I think they could really punish so much, because that's going to be Lil, right? More than likely.
Yeah.
This could be a really hard Storm game to get off the ground.
It's weird, because if you just look at the hero matchups, the hero versus hero matchups, like you said, because of the lack of disables, it's not that it's not a bad Storm game. But if you look at how VP plays these heroes, it's a brutal Storm game.
I'll pick for Virtus.Pro.
I mean, Is Kama...
Where do they go and what are they looking for?
Let me look really quickly. Has Kama even played Storm?
Yeah, he has.
Okay, okay. Yeah,
They just throw the puck offlane.
It's his 6th most popular right
Actually, we still don't know, actually.
Oh, DK.
We've seen Pasha play offlane DK.
Yeah, I actually like offlane DK quite a bit because I feel like no one can abuse the puck storm matchup mid, but DK's a much better laner now than I realized. I think
he can lane verse like anything.
Yeah.
Right, well, Rastar is leaving the area rather than playing in the area this time round. It's back to normal for Virtus.Pro as far as they're concerned, but which way is this going, Fogged?
Man, it's hard to go against Lycan.
Yeah, are you sticking to your, if they pick Deucer, I go with the team that picks Deucer? Is that the same with Lycan?
It kind of is.
It's tough to bet against him, isn't it?
It's really hard to bet against it, but I've really loved VP for the past like year and a half. I have to stay by them.
So the Virtus.Pro fanboy goes with Virtus.Pro.
Yep.
I obviously love the Lycan pick, but I can't come up with a coherent story for how the other heroes fit around the Lycan in this game.
Disjointed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Lycan, and then 4 other heroes.
Yeah. Right.
So I got to go VP.
Leaning VP as well. All right, okay, well, 2 of our panel members both gone for Virtus.Pro. No real surprise, they are one of the top 3 teams in the world right now. Can they confirm that against a very informed VGJ.Thunder? Let's find out in game number 1.
Yeah, thanks very much, Red Andy. The last series of today here on this stream, here at ESL Genting, and it's a very exciting matchup. I feel. These are 2 teams that I don't think we've seen go against each other head-to-head before.
No, I don't know if you heard, but top 3 team in the world, I believe Paul just said.
Oh,
VP. Whoa.
I mean, would you would disagree or?
No, I don't know. I think it's probably true, but I just feel like I haven't seen them in so long, so it's hard to rate them
especially with
so high up there.
Yeah, that little break. What Summit they played without him.
He went, relaxing on the beach somewhere, something like that.
Maybe it's made him an even better player. You
Possible.
They could have done something magical to him. I
have to say, art style looked a little depressed, didn't he?
Yeah.
He just kind of sitting there. He's like, oh, I remember when I got to be in the chair. That was fun. Those were good times. But no, he's back, just helping with the draft. He doesn't get the chair like ROTK does.
He does.
You guys have seen that.
ROTK is like, get out of the way. Get out of the way, boys.
Give me that thing. Hey, it works.
Time to draft.
Right? Galaxy battles, they looked good. They upset EG. Can they upset VP? That's the big question.
I mean, what do you think about the picks? As the guy said, talking about the Lycans and the such.
I was surprised by the Storm. I thought that was a little bit. I guess they felt like they had enough push potential from like the Lycan. It feels like they're definitely just trying to get the ball rolling, the lightning ball, as it were, this time. See if they can make that work. But you look at those lanes from the side of VP, and it's like puck, core, tiny core, and a DK core. How do you mess with any of these 3? Those are 3 very sustainable laners, very safe at whatever they want to get achieved in the early laning phase. So it can be hard to snowball a draft off of that if you're VGJ.Thunder.
Yeah, I'll be very interested to see as well where they do end up laning the DK and the puck. As we said in the panel mentioned, they do have this versatility between Pasha and Nolan, both being very formidable players on both of them in both positions. I feel like more likely no one to play the DK still. I mean, it's such a core.
I'm hoping for the no one puck.
For him.
I like the no one puck.
That's true.
It's more aggressive.
Yeah.
But who would do more with the items, I guess, is the better question. Like, is it going to be better for the puck to get a better start, or is it going to be the DK?
And it's actually, we were wrong. So it's a no one tiny, which you did mention. You did say maybe no one's going to be taking the tiny to the middle. Ramses will be playing the Dragon Knight.
Yeah, so they've done this a couple times as well.
Yes.
They're all over the place with their picks here. So I like this. I think DK probably needs, this is like a good tier of who needs how much gold, right? DK, you want that Shadow Blade. That thing's a little pricey. And then after that, it's the Blink Dagger for no one. It's a little cheaper, so we'll put him in the tier 2. And then Pasha, well, good luck getting a Blink, buddy. We'll see you later.
VGJ.Thunder's lineup, obviously with Sylar on that very, very strong Lycan that we've seen have a lot of success in this patch. And Karma Storm Spirit, which I'm also very interested to see. I think I've seen too much of that myself, so we'll see how they're able to perform with the Storm. And it's always sort of talked about how good of a Storm game is it. I mean, how good a Storm game do you think this one is for VGJ.Thunder? Are there heroes you're looking at VP's lineup and say that could become a big issue for the Storm?
Yeah, big concerns definitely going to be DK, of course, very quick, instant stun at the melee, something like the Shadow Blade or something to kind of sneak up on him. So that would be the biggest concern. But other than that, you're looking at like Winter's Curse and the puck, fairly telegraphed ability to catch on.
There you go. Sylar, he's got a bit of a difficulty here with 4 heroes having a look at him, and that is almost certainly going to be your first blood going the way of Ramses as he picks it up with the Breathe Fire, picks up the Bouncy Rune as well. Easy start for VP there as Sylar not expecting VP to wrap around from the high ground, as it seems, as he was out there all on his own.
A prize.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any big surprises here in terms of the lane setup for the Radiant side, but they will make the change. Spotting that is going to be the Puck and the Enchantress in the bottom lane. They're going to send Doom down bot and let Sylar TP the top lane, have a little bit of better time there with the Dazzle assistance.
Yeah, I'm a little interested to see that they do decide, though, to have Ramses play the mid lane with the DK, though. Yeah. As I guess it's just the fact, I think as you know, no one, even though he's great at the DK, he probably does play more Tiny than Ramses plays Tiny. I think that's probably the certain pairing they're trying to, well, they wanted to get VP hit, and they do have it. And obviously the mid lane matchup a little bit better to have the DK rather than the Tiny hit on his own in the earlier stages. And no one has the potential to get something done on that top lane with the backup of the Wyvern. If VGJ.Thunder's supports are forced to move elsewhere, Sylar's got to be a little careful. But I say that once there's a few levels on the like, and we've seen it so many times this patch, this hero is incredibly strong in the lane with the regen that he gets. And he should be alright up there.
One decent problem this game is going to be Fade again. Much like in our game earlier today with VGJ.Thunder, just not really much for him to do. Like before he was on the Night Stalker, it was a lot of tanky cores kind of running around. He couldn't really pressure them. And again, we got another game like that. DK, Puck, Tiny. Like where do you go? But I thought that was going to be a bigger problem with him in the earlier game, and it really wasn't. You know, he recovered very well in the mid game and was still able to win the game for VGJ.Thunder. So we'll see if he kind of has the similar outcome here again.
See what CS on the bottom lane between Pasha and Yang. 7 for 3, 7 for 1, pretty even. Pasha has taken a little bit of a beating. Looks like the Scorched Earth has already been used to give Pasha one bit of a rundown. Mid lane, eyes towards Karma. Got Lil bringing in the Hellbent Smash, and that's going to be the second kill for VP. Great early rotation there from the Enchantress, as he picks up the ideal sort of creep to gank a Storm. And
gotta love the Purge creep.
Yeah, and this is going to be the weakness early on for VGJ.Thunder. They have to be careful around this mid lane, because Ench ganking at any time before that Storm hits 6, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to deal with on his own.
Nice stuff from Fade, though. He's stealing those bounty runes. Very important if you can't get kills on these heroes. I think AO also got one up top there on the Dazzle, too. So trying to find some gold, whereas you can see them both there. 0-0 on the old last hits. Sad support life.
Making a move from the bottom lane all the way up to the top. The Avalanche at the top.
Oh, look at it toss onto the Centaur.
Perfectly executed, but it isn't quite enough, or is it? Sylar, one more touch, indeed solo. He's got the range there as he comes flapping his wings over the tree line. And VP getting away with that despite VGJ.Thunder doing their best attempt there with the 3 of the heroes to keep one of them alive. A very, very nice coordination from VP. Incredibly tiny, as you say, just the stun control there, maximized by the side to set up for the kill.
No, and this makes it really hard for the Storm Spirit too, because you're sitting in this lane and you have to play safe, because if you can't see the Enchantress, you have to assume that she's ganking you, and that's what I would be guessing, right? You know, you want as many kills as you can, 3-6, you want to slow this guy down as much as possible. You also have a setup stun from the Dragon Knight that can always be a bit worrisome, and instead she just suddenly appears in the top lane and kills your safe laner, essentially, who's hanging out in the off lane.
Now they'll bring the Centaurs over. Potentially looking for another bit of a gank onto mid. They do know, obviously, the Earth Spirit's there, and they have got that deep ward down behind the tower, so very useful in terms of looking for an opportunity whether they feel the Storm is likely to be on his own. And even if they're passing by at certain stages, maybe see if they can get a bit of a courier snipe in if Lil is in the correct position. Sylar moving down to the bottom lane. It's catching up a little bit on CS. 18, 19, 20, 21 on the top 4 cores, so no one falling too far behind. So that bit of harassment onto Fade as towards mid. Kick back onto solo. Fade throws himself out. He's attacking more than harassed. Top lane though, no one. He's looking towards Yang. Yang has the backup of Io. No one can't get through the final touchdown with the Scorched Earth heal. Yang will be fine. Oh, I said that there's a toss coming in. Oh, Yang playing on the edge of his life there. Will survive. But no one nearly bullying him under the nose of even the fact that he had a backup of the Dazzle.
Oh, nice scan there from the Radiant too. They spotted exactly where the Enchantress was. It's gonna scan right from that high ground, so Freeze backs all the way away. And now he's gonna be back up there in the mid lane too. But yeah, down the bottom lane, Sylar. He's going for the 2-0-2 build on the Wolves, which has certainly become more popular. More people are starting to max out the Wolves rather than just going for the Howl and the Feral Impulse, but very painful against the Winter Wyvern. Just going to be countered by that ultimate, more damage coming in early on the scan.
Little with that rotation, getting the stern from the neutral creep. Brief fire from Ramses finishes off the job. It's just these movements from VP just seem to be a step ahead of that of VGJ.Thunder's. They do react, but it's never quite quick enough.
It's crazy just how long VP have been like touting this Enchantress, you know, just like such a threat.
Yeah.
Lil, amazing on the hero, always has been one of his best. Just like in those old days of him like playing Visage all the time in terms of the micro being very good, very active early on in the game. And even during the Kiev major like True Sight, he just talked about Enchantress the whole time, how he thought it was like the best hero in Dota, and they barely even used it in that tournament in comparison to like how much value they put into it. So always something that they're very happy to pull out in the game.
Camera. 5 at the moment. Lil harassing back Fade again once from this mid lane, making it pretty much impossible for VGJ.Thunder themselves to try anything aggressive onto Ramses. As the consistent pressures there from VP's roamers.
Yeah, Dazzle and Lycan, a common pairing. Used to be very classic when you'd use the Shadow Wave with the Wolves, which can be a pretty decent reason just to stack it up in a game like this, even though it can be countered well by the Wyvern. It just obviously helps out in their own synergy. And one of the ways that Lycan would even be picked back in the day when it wasn't that common for the hero to be seen. Fade level 2.
I see.
6.5 minutes.
Desperately trying to soak up some XP. But he has to be careful. Little is still sitting around this mid lane.
That's surprising though, eh? Like that just kind of shows like the new patch where like Lil is 0-0-4, so involved, all 4 kills, and he's also kind of struggling. Like he's only 3.5. Like, you know, you might expect something a bit more considering how active he's been and how successful his rotations have gone.
And kills certainly aren't quite as worth as much as they were in the past. Both experience and gold-wise in the earlier stages. But it's certainly working in terms of just getting objectives done. 7 minutes in, the Elder Dragon form, Ramses able to push forward with Lil and take a very early mid-tier 1 tower away from VGJ.Thunder.
Yeah, and I mean, might as well tap for a bit more. You got the catapult there with the Enchantress, and you know Storm Spirit's just jungling. He doesn't really want to show up for something like this. He still doesn't even have his ultimate. And they don't feel like stopping. He does skill it up now. He's just holding on to the point. Oh, but he runs into Wyvern. And with that clarity now canceled, he doesn't really have much in the tank.
They'll move away from the push, but decent amount of damage done to that tier 2 on top of taking the tier 1 tower. So VP really stepping up the pressure, and that's certainly the way to go. You know, if you can sort of amp things up before the Storm gets his core items, it makes it very hard for the Storm to play the game. Because VP do have these heroes, you know, this Dragon Knight that just down to their skills, their innate abilities, they can have this edge in the early to mid game that's going to be hard for VGJ.Thunder's lineup to sort of stall and keep the game going if this lead continues as we sit 8 minutes, 4-0 and a 4K gold lead for VP.
I was watching a game very similar to this recently. It might have been VGJ.Thunder who were playing it, but it was the same situation where they are relatively far behind early on in the game, but they had these 2 cores of the Storm Spirit and the Lycan.
Okay.
And it looked a little bit worrisome, but then you realize how well those 2 heroes can pair together, and that because they both want to just kind of explode, right? You just like, you ult on the Lycan and Storm zips on someone. Yeah. And in that short duration of just the pull from a Storm Spirit, Lycan can shred somebody. But in a game like this, it's not going to be quite as easy. They have these saves from Wyvern being the biggest one. So once it gets up to 6, that's going to be pretty good, but there's counter initiation potential from someone like the Tiny or the Dragon Knight, and they still have to try and latch onto that target. It'd be very difficult to grab someone like a Puck or the status resistance from Tiny. That's going to be stacking up there as well. So overall, I'm not sure if they'll be able to recover quite as well as the previous time they ran these cores. Helm with nothing quite queued up here for our Lycan. It's tough. It's like, do I want to go for the Necronomicon against Wyvern? Do I want to try the Armlet build?
I mean, it feels like you have. I mean, it's just that's the only way to play Lycan, isn't it? The Helm Necro at this stage, really. I mean, if you can get it at a good time, I'm sure the Lycan is still going to. I mean, so the Wyvern is certainly still going to be a bit of an issue, but it's just so good on the Lycan.
The Armlet build always feels pretty underwhelming.
Yeah.
Even when it's still gone for these days. Well, speaking of Armlet, DK will be grabbing one up for himself there. Also almost done. So it's going to add quite a bit to the next push with the ulti. Hosh is just getting this for free. I mean, DK's rotating, but he's not even needed.
Yeah, he's done half the damage on the tower already with Ramses committing the Elder Dragon form. It's unlikely that VGJ.Thunder will look to do anything about this defense.
This is going to look a lot like mid, I think. They just pop that ulti, and he's like, all right, let's go to the next tower. Like, I'm not stopping. I'm going to forces rotation.
Up top though, they will have to respond to this. The move forward's been made. Doom has been dropped onto the Tiny. Reaction comes in, but this Tiny is falling low. But the deny is there. They'll get the deny. Ramses making sure that there's no kill here for VGJ.Thunder. Now they're looking for potential turnaround. They turn towards Storm. He's out of mana. He's controlled by Lil. VP get the kill and deny that VG.Thunder was so desperately looking for.
That's the dream situation for Puck. Before your Blink Dagger, you're just always waiting for dives. You just want to TP to a tower and get a coil and then allow the rest of your team to catch up and try and pick up some kills. So excellently done with the deny. They'll keep their 4K lead and they bring down the Storm in a very important time of the game for him to try and get some momentum going.
Sylar, at least able to read the situation, knows that there's a full committal with the defense from VP, makes the move down mid, able to claim that tier 1 tower, and at least alleviate some of the map pressure that the VP have been able to keep on to VGJ.Thunder at this stage by opening up mid, top lane. I'm going to try and dive in onto Aya by the looks of it. Pasha jaunts forward, has the silence. That's going to be a 6th kill for VP as Aya to fall. Smoke up from VGJ.Thunder. We'll see what they can actually do with this sort of smoke through. They don't have Doom for 75 seconds. That ult still on cooldown, and they'll have to just let this one go yet again. Another tower. Yang still hanging around on relatively low health. He does have the Scourged Herb, but Pasha Lil, they're moving in. TP's coming through, but it doesn't matter. The Doom's down, but VP will pay for that one. Getting a little greedy there. They'll lose 2 heroes, maybe even more. Solo also going to be chased down by Sylar. And Karma with that potential you talked about, zipping in as Solo is up to the high ground. They do have the boulder smash just in time, comes in from the sidelines, and VP will lose 3. So VGJ.Thunder for the first time this game able to get a considerable team fight under them there, and it was down to the fact that you could see VP getting a little ahead of themselves there, seeing that Doom potential. At the end of the day, it was just a bit of a bait.
Yeah, those VGJ, they are very cheeky. Like, they do these little bait plays a lot of the time when you watch them. They're very, I don't know, they're very clever in a lot of things they'll do. They'll often show like their biggest initiator or something, pushing out some wave somewhere, and on the other side of the map they're smoking with 4 heroes that you would think have pretty poor initiation potential or something like that, but they're always like, I feel like they have a good idea of what their opponents are seeing. So in that case, if you see a Doom so low, you're gonna go. Of course you're gonna go. He was like barely alive and able to bait into 2 big kills. And then a third, of course, with the Wyvern too, so.
You see the aggressions that the VP Lil just chasing down. And Dazzle there will back off as he realizes the Spirit plus more are waiting in the shadows, but back to this top lane push. Ramses again with the Elder Dragon form, getting some damage onto the tier 2. The rest of VP's coming to back him up. VGJ.Thunder are going to be there to look for the 5 boulder smash. Comes in onto Lil, silence onto 3. Kama looking straight in. They've got the Doom down as well onto the Dragon Knight. Winter's Curse laid down, holds back the Dazzle, allows the team to kill their own Dazzle. Sylar's taken down as well by the Impetus. They do lose the DK as he goes. No, it's another deny. Pasha was able to deny the DK who was doomed. So second denied target. Lil, by the looks of it, may just survive, and VGJ.Thunder, they don't look quite as lucky. Fate's got to get out. Storm can't escape. He's out of mana. Jump 4 from Pasha. He's going to be able to take down the Earth Spirit. They've lost 4 yet again. Blink 4 for no one. He's got his eyes on Yang. It's a beefy target. He'll let that one go with the face boots as Yang will escape. But again, these fights where VP just seem to be that little cleaner, and again, just getting these denies on these big targets, these big kills that VGJ.Thunder would absolutely love to have. But they're there each and every time with the deny.
Yeah, and Solo had just gotten the curse off. Like, it was 2 seconds off cooldown, and he's able to land a lot of 3 heroes like that. Didn't have the Lycan, so not able to just slay everyone instantly.
Could be in a bit of trouble, and should be with Kama zipping in. They'll take down 1, turn towards Ramses, but not quite enough mana in the tank for Kama to bring down a DK. The rest of VPA is wrapping around behind VGJ.Thunder. Io's got to hide, but he can't. They've already spotted him out. They've got the silence. Dazzle taken down.
Gotcha.
Starting to heat up quite a bit. Certainly continuing to be in favour of VP as they lead 7K, 14 minutes in.
Yeah, 14 minutes, and we're still looking towards the first Necronomicon. Not exactly ideal for Lycan. He still leads his team, but clearly far behind the leaders on the side of VP there. Almost 7K. Yeah, he just cracked it there for Ramses. And he's not too scared of a little Lycan like this as he builds in towards that Shadow Blade. That's going to put some pressure on the Storm Spirit. Going to be hard for him to keep catching up and just farming neutral camps. And possibly even force the side of VGJ into more of like this 5-man Dota. And that's when you really feel bad, you know?
Yeah. So, no one. He's got the Blink combo onto Yang. Not quite enough damage though to finish him off. Yang be able to turn. Winter's Curse laid down as Solo will hold back Sylar for a little bit of time. Ziphril from Kama finds Solo in the tree line. They will burst down the Wyvern. They're looking towards no one as well. They have the walls on him. Go for this, they roll forward on Faith, find the connection, but Lila Pash is there with the response, jump forward, Dream Coil down onto the Earth Spirit, great save there onto Sylar from Io, the last moment, keeping Sylar alive. Faith may not be quite as lucky, we'll see if he's able to roll away from this one, but with the impetuses flying through from Lil, Faith should fall, he'll go for the silence and the rollout, stopping the last impetus. He's looking to juke it out of the tree line, but the vision is there. Lil will be able to make the connection and still get the kill, but they lose passion.
Yeah,
so
looks like Sylar picked him up too. So.
But VP is still this sort of problem that VGJ.Thunder are sort of unable to break ahead in these trades. There's always something going a little bit more right for VP.
Yeah, like a dragon on the other side of the map taking your tier 2. Not exactly the ideal situation here, and that's going to be his Shadow Blade. So Ramsey's going to create that threat, and then we'll probably be looking for some more vision there for the Dire. Already looks pretty good. They got some over there on the Radiant jungle, over by the shrine, and close to the base as well. So kind of spotting those courier movements, which can be very telling as to what the Radiant's up to, and also where people generally tend to group up for smokes. But yeah, Roche Pit, we haven't been there yet. 16 minutes in. Might be a good idea for VP soon, or possibly a sneak from VGJ.Thunder as well.
Yeah,
they have the possibility.
Yeah, they could do it at a decent time. It obviously very scary with the Wyvern being in the game there.
Oh, he sold the Shadow Blade. Oh, he thought about the Halberd, and now he's thinking about the BKB.
Okay.
Interesting. Maybe the Shadow Blade, he realizes that they're going to be playing pretty tight already for Thunder, so there might not be a lot of value in that.
And eventually,
and they're thinking high ground.
And eventually there's going to be that Necro. Yeah. Scaled up. But yeah, I mean, BKB is going to allow them to, as you say, just fully commit to sort of those high ground pushes at a potentially early stage of the game. Let's see.
Yeah, besides Doom, they don't have a cancel either, so theoretically it could let them be a little bit more independent on the side lanes and everything, but Doom's there, that could be an issue.
Fortification comes out from VP. They will send no one up to the top lane. So, moving forward, Sylar. So you're going to commit with the ultimate. No one's keeping his distance. Rest of VP, look at this wraparound coming in from the bottom of the jungle. This could catch them off guard. Oh, quick blink there from Patch as he heads into the tree line. He's looking for the big catch. Can he get it up at the top? He can't. They've already managed to juke it out. VGJ.Thunder do avoid that rotation there. It looked like it had good potential to catch them, but they very, very cleanly disengage and get out of there just in time, Thunder.
And it looks so nice, but still an 8K. Okay, it drops a little down to 7K, so it is working. Slowly climbing back in, but you gotta imagine we're looking for some kills there on the Storm Spirit here soon. And Doom does have the Shadow Blade, might be able to help set some stuff up here if they get a little bit greedy from the side of VP, if they start splitting up a little bit across the map.
It might even be the case that Yang wants to just try and find Solo in these fights. We've seen Solo get some great Winter's Curses off, but have been quite a nuisance for VGJ.Thunder to deal with. VP, to the pit they go, and Thunder are going to be aware of this one. They're not quite close enough for what looks of it to indicate they have any interest.
For them too.
Yeah.
So unlikely. With the Roche gold and all the tower gold, that means Solo's getting close to his first item.
This is Curse trying to set up the rest of his team to come in. They do have a Dream Coil. They could look to hold him down that little bit more, but it looks like they don't have too much of an interest in chasing him. It is just the two heroes, so maybe play was being made just in case there was the resources to send more down there, but that wasn't the situation, so they have to let the Lycan go. Yang with this newly found Shadow Blade. See if he can find an opening. A Doom onto a target followed up by the Storm could result in a quick and easy kill.
Feels like the same problem as the laning stage though. Just like hunting around, it's like, okay, there's a DK. There's a tiny, like, so much time for the allies to respond just because of how tanky they are, how many towers they still have left. Oh, this is only his third Dragon Knight game for Ramses. There you go. MDL in the Summit 8. See if he can make it 3 wins. I feel like he just might, judging by the way this game's going.
So far, so good. Yeah, he's top of the net worth. And as you mentioned, just looking pretty hard for VGJ.Thunder to bring down these team fights. Sanjin Yasha complete on no one's tiny. No one coming in, clean up the walls. Drop down as well. See how heavy-handed VP want to get with this high ground push. I mean, they do have the Aegis, and as I was saying with the SMY, the BKB and the DK, they do have the tools to go for this. 20 minutes in, it is early, but they do have a considerable lead.
I like this, because they don't have good high ground. They need to make some sort of a play. Just like standing at the top is not going to work well for them. They need to find solo. And he's lurking back there.
Let's see what they can do with this already. VP, could be the Doom drop down onto Ramsey. Pasha jumps in, manages to get the Dream Core though onto 3 of them. They'll get the toss as well, blocking the stun. That's the Earthquake down, but they have lost the Wyvern. The Doom as well on Ramsey's, meaning that there's a setup there for Kama to come in, finish off the kill. VGJ.Thunder, they find 2. They're looking for more. Sylar desperately trying to chase down no one. Has he got the damage to bring him down? Once he has. That's going to be the Aegis popped. Lil being focused by Yang and Io. He's surrounded by the Doom. Sylar has lost the ultimate form, but the heal's gone off Lil. Lil should tick down one more touch. One right click from the Dazzle will do it. That's going to be a 3rd down on VP. No one will be able to keep his second life intact. Pasha's still alive, but as you were mentioning, great wraparound from VGJ.Thunder. VP though, they're not done. They look to jump back in. No one has the quick 1-2 combo, able to blow down the Doom. They have the Vortex, dragging back in no one. Do they have the damage to bring down this Tiny? He's just turning towards Kama. Kama's low on mana. He's only got a little bit left, trying to zip back in range, but they have to respect this Tiny. You can see how terrified they are. Keeping their distance. Pasha just coming back in and forth. He's very confident with the way that he can get in and out without being caught out. They do get away, but
it's very impressive stuff.
Very good signs from VGJ.Thunder with that sort of play.
This is kind of, you know, VG, I mean, there's a reason they just won Galaxy Battles. They just 3-0'd EG because they're kind of climbing out of that tier, you know, 2.5 to more of an upper status team because of maneuvers like that. It's just not something you really see from teams from like the bracket that we kind of would have previously grouped them in. So slowly kind of clawing their way out of there. I don't know if it's time to claw themselves out of this deficit into a win, but they can keep making plays like that. You saw how fast Solo died. I feel like he definitely needs an item. I'm surprised they haven't prioritized like anything on him at all. He doesn't have the Glimmer Cape, he doesn't have the Blink Dagger, no hope towards those whatsoever. Any item like that would make a really big difference for him up against the Storm. Very happy to focus him down as fast as possible every engagement, but Will's a bit too greedy. You see him climbing him to 7K, he's like, no Solo.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Tower for
Radiant's
VP.
middle tower has fallen.
Tier 2 after Tier 2, still relatively early days in this game, 22 minutes in. VP remaining the top 3 highest scores on the net worth. And still a bit of a catch-up game that VGJ.Thunder need to play. And it's certainly going to be put to the test when that high ground push comes in, whether VGJ.Thunder can successfully hold the high ground. It feels like they don't really have an incredible lineup to do that. It is going to be difficult, but if they can make maneuvers like they just did and are able to sort of catch VP out off guard just outside the base, they've certainly got a good chance of making a go at it. Yang down bottom, opens up from the Shadow Blade with the Doom onto the Pug. Can't chase him down with the Scorch Earth, needs his +1 and he'll get it. In comes the Storm, Kama's got the control. You know, very good catch there from Yang.
This is certainly looking fine for VP heading to like that mid-late game too. The wave control in general looks a little bit more favorable for them, so they have to try and catch VP when they're trying to do these solo pushes. There could be a Wyvern on a lane just pushing, there could be a Puck, there can be a DK, and there can even just be a Tiny. Like, all of them are very fast at clearing out waves. They don't really have the same thing as VGJ.Thunder. The cores are decent in terms of like the Lycan and the Storm Spear, but no one really like flash clears waves or anything like that, so. No. Pick like that, they're still pushing waves so fast on the other side of the map for VP that I don't really know how much ground they're actually going to gain here from VGJ.Thunder. That's why that Aegis was so important for VP to take too, because just like at least an Aegis maybe gives VGJ.Thunder a chance to like push out a little bit and force an objective for a favorable fight, but without that, they're just kind of stuck, hoping to kill some heroes and still not really getting any map control.
We'll see where they head next. I think, as you mentioned, it's just all about VGJ.Thunder looking for those opportunities and themselves. Kama's very low on mana here though. No one has got the catch set up for Ramsey. Pasha's there as well. That's Kama down. Indeed, just after he picks up that Bloodstone. It's a painful death for the Storm Spirit.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, they really need to stack that up. He's also thinking about the Orchid. I don't know if that's going to be feasible for him in terms of survivability. Feels like he might need a BKB or something, but I guess you have to play risky and aggressive. He understands the problem behind him.
Yeah, trying to open up. No one's going to come over the action. Jumps forward. Solo has the Winter's Curse down. Off the Earth Spirit, holding a plate. Fade's going to be protected by... looking to get Sylar out of this one, and they're going to be able to as well. The third hero down on VP. Pasha will jump in, finish off the Lycan. It's a 3 for 2 at the moment, favoring VGJ.Thunder. They've got their eyes on Lil. Boulder Smash comes in. They have the control with the Vortex from Kama, dragging him back in. Have they got the damage? He's got that passive, slowing down the right clicks, but the burst from Io will finish him off. Dazzle. Well, Io doing a lot of work in that fight there. Multiple graves, making it very tricky for VP to get those kills. And it gave the time for Sylar, even though he goes down, to do a lot with that Lycan. He was getting those punches in. And there, VGJ.Thunder, they're winning these team fights now. VP unable to break this high ground with the way that VGJ.Thunder's stepping up their play.
Yeah, Io really stood out at Galaxy Battles. He's a very well-positioned player. There's a lot of team fights where he's always in the perfect spot. He's far enough away from those big AoE spells to bring in that save. You know, post-Ravage, post-Winter's Curse, that's definitely like shined the most from him, I found. And there, you just kind of see it. You know, they gave a lot of experience to him early. He leveled up the Grave pretty quick. He was ready for those first couple curses, but he didn't actually find that good positioning in those engagements. But now in this one, VP probably didn't need to rush that much. It felt maybe a little bit forced because like you see this good curse, but if you can't get that dazzle and it doesn't get that instant pick off, then very quick reactions from Fade right after. He starts getting those big stuns, the big silences, the damage starts pouring out, and the fight starts to look a little bit poorer for VP there too. So see if they're probably going to play it a little bit more relaxed here, I would guess. Maybe not try another big high ground one, maybe focus more on a little bit of a split push aspect, but that's going to open up more opportunities for the Doom and the Storm Spirit to get things done, and maybe we can get a few more charges back on this Bloodstone.
Absolutely. I mean, VP with the net worth lead there, they could definitely continue to play the farm game, as you say, just sort of get to that sweeter spot where they can sort of go through pushes. Up top, no one. I don't think he's getting out of this indeed, with 3 heroes surrounding him. He is gone. Another pick off for VGJ.Thunder. You do have VP coming through. Pasha leading the way, seeing if we can find something in return. Sylar, he popped the ult. He's going to look straight towards Pasha. There'll be the Euro Scepter. Should be able to play his way out. Oh, the silence comes in perfectly timed, and that's going to be a double kill for Kama. 2 cores quickly falling for VP. As it really seems that VP, they're starting to fall apart. VGJ.Thunder may not have had, you know, the world's most solid laning stage, but the plays and the calls that they're making are seeming to just outplay VP each and every time in this. Get 27 minutes in. Sure, there's still a 6k lead, but it's being turned around. VGJ.Thunder now able to get the momentum back under their wings. And I think if you're VP, you're going to be a little bit shaken up about this. And now Roshan's there for the taking. 2 cores down. I don't think VP can contest this at all.
And the last time they were ganking the Storm, it was the Storm and the Doom. So I think they're kind of expecting this Doom to be scouting, but they can see Doom on the bottom lane. He was pushing out that wave, so you feel safe. You're like, okay, Doom's way down there. I can kind of make this push up top like that, but they've got these other 3 heroes that you're not really expecting to be there with the full committal from Sylar.
So they do a big play for the win. He's got the Winter's Curse. What can he do with it?
All for Fade is though.
It's so hard for him to get in. He's trying to, but Fade in deep with that position is going to make it impossible. Roshan goes down. Kama able to pick up the Aegis.
I hear Storm Spirit's good with that. I've been told. Go fairly
and that would have been the cheese as well, right? Who's picked up the cheese? It's, okay, Sylar. So very nice to do both of these cores. Cheese unlike and brilliant. You know, being able to stay that little longer alive with the ultimate. And
he doesn't like Aegis. That's not his thing.
No.
So it's good that he can get the cheese.
Yeah, this is a good bit of a power point for VGJ in the terms that they could look to try and go aggressive themselves. There's still tier 2s for the take. There's still a tier 1 on the bottom lane. Hasn't been taken. Top lane, they've found Lil. Solo will have the Winter's Curse on the Doom. That's a lot of damage coming in from his teammates as Yang will fall. Solo able to save Lil and get that turnaround kill. This is always going to be the problem, as we talked about in the draft and such. This Wyvern against the Lycan. That ult, you've always got to respect just how much that does. You know, if the Lycan's got his army out next to any of those teammates, they're going to die in a good Winter's Curse. And Solo has been very good with finding the positioning to do so.
I will say he still doesn't have the blink, so it's very fortunate that he was in the area for that. He does have the Glimmer Cape now, though, so he'll have that picked up, but that does mean the blink's still going to be coming quite a bit later. And his curses haven't been like, you know, I guess he hasn't always been able to catch the Lycan like that, and he hasn't always been able to play around from the Dazzle, so still a little bit tempting coming high ground here.
we go. Up they go, this push, they force out qualifications in for Karma. Zip back, clear out the way, towers down. Sylar for the sideline, and the ultimate ready to try and chase down VP. See what they can claim here. They know that there's no Winter's Curse for a bit of time. Karma zips forward, Lil did get out the heal. Is it going to be enough to keep him alive? Pasha jumping in with the Sylar, trying to provide some backup, and with the Dream Coiler, will force Sylar to spend a bit of time backed up. Yeah, coming in for the sidelines under the Shadow Blade, but the sentry's down. VP, they have the vision, they burst down the Doom. Karma zip forward, yes, Jules W, very low on the mana though. VP in a good position to turn this one around onto VGJ.Thunder, and they will claim Karma once. That's the Aegis pop. They've also got their eyes on Fade. No one with the control, with the Avalanche toss will set up for a potential kill. Fade kicks them away, the Grave comes out from Aya. Should be enough to keep Fade alive though. No one on Solo continues to be down onto him. They do manage to get the Storm back out. Karma's able to escape after that Aegis, but still 2 heroes down on Thunder. The Aegis gone. Fade has to buy back. VP, they still have a bit of time left with this Elder Dragon Form. I say a bit of time, he's got the full time. This is a strong push coming in from VP. Sylar has the ult back up. He's looking to fight. He's making a beeline straight for Solo. He's got the army out with the Necro units, but it's immediately cleared away by the Cleave and the Avalanche for no one. They'll throw Sylar up into the air. He's falling very low. They'll slide forward. Ramses with his BKB living on the last bit of life does claim the Rax, and he's actually able to get out. The Solo Winter's Curse again, protecting him, forcing VGJ.Thunder to fight one another, and allows Ramses to sneak out after getting the Rax.
Yeah, and they don't want to chase any further without the Lycan ulti, and so away VP will slink. Very happy with their prize here.
That was some. I mean, we're seeing some great plays from Solo and some great plays from Aya. This is one of those games where you have sort of these big safe supports, Solo and the Dazzle, and interesting, well, because Solo, he's doing it every time, of course, with the Winter's Curse. I don't think we've seen a single sort of cold embrace that's been like, oh, he's saved him, because there's it's not ideal this game. There's a lot of ways that VGJ.Thunder can punish you with cold embrace, but every time that Winter's Curse has been there, well, 31 minutes in it, we're not at the latest stages of a game, and it seems like each and every one has done something big for the team, as you say, without the blink at this point, still being able to get in position and being allowed to pull off these big plays.
Yeah, and consider his other 4 allies, he is by far the most ganked. It's like not even close. Like you saw Lil, there's like 3 heroes on top of him, he still just heals all the way up, and then the other 3 heroes are all too tanky or too elusive. So he has a giant target on his back, and again, as you say, against a Storm Spirit and a Lycan, still able to get that done. Very impressive stuff. A lot of reach from the side of VGJ.Thunder trying to shut him down, but not able to.
A bit of a Simbis room. Getting some nice intel here for the side. Spots out Solo and Noah. Oh yeah, just seems to a Storm. Karma has picked up the Lincoln Sphere. So he's certainly going to be feeling a little safer when zipping in with Solo in the neighborhood, knowing that he's not, at least he's not going to be the one getting shredded by Winter's Curse. Up top, Fade still looking for the setup on this bit of action on Solo and No One. The rest of VGJ.Thunder are coming through it. Fade can find a good angle to open up. They can certainly hope this Karma's going to be a bit off the mark with the initial hit, but it doesn't look like it matters. They have the Silence and Stone onto the Wyvern. Lemon Cave comes through. Solo, oh, he gets the time again! The Winter's Curse from Solo. He survived. What's the Contemplation? He'll surely still fall. Bonus comes through. Is the enough to keep him alive? Surely Solo's got to die. He does. He does go down. And now VGJ.Thunder, they're looking for more, but Karma, he's out of mana. No One as well, though. Also a little low on the potential to fight. Just drop down onto DK, but Ramsey's still strong, heads back in. They do find Aya. They've got the Avalanche, they've got the toss, they'll take him out. So see if they can try and move on for more here. Yang, Shadow Blade as he sneaks away. But I mean, again, another fight going the way of VP, and because of the fact that Solo was able to react as he does.
And he instantly bought back too, once he saw the Earth Spirit go down too, because he bought back earlier, so highly unlikely that he has buyback at this point, and he's ready to just start pressuring in.
There we go, with 2 heroes down on VGJ.Thunder. As you say, no way for those 2 to get back into the fight. How can VGJ.Thunder put a stop to this one? Ramsey is moving straight down towards the bottom lane. Yang's alone. I mean, Karma's going to have a bit of a go on here. There's a bit of a bait. Pasha jumps over the side. They've got the control. They've put the Lincoln. Has to be Storm up and down and out of the game. 30 seconds, no Storm. No buyback on him either. And this will be more than enough space for VP to claim a second set of racks. If you can get any more with the Bloodstone, the Storm not out for too long. So it looks like the game will go on.
It's tempting, but without the Dragon Form, play it a little bit safe. No reason to give anything away. Certainly lost quite a few kills this game, considering the advantage that they've had throughout it. It's felt like VGJ.Thunder have gotten more than their fair share of kills. So they'll just relax back, grab a tree for No One, start beating away at the shrine.
is quite a sizable lead now coming back the way of VP. We saw that sort of mid-game where VGJ.Thunder were able to swing it back their way a little bit, but these last few fights and these objectives now lending VP towards this 18k gold lead.
Yeah, objectives have just been very key for VP this game too, because like VGJ.Thunder, I don't think they've been close to it. They were kind of close to that tier 2 top when they went for that gank. But other than that, the bottom lane has been stuck near their tier 3 for what feels like 15 minutes or something at this point. The mid lane, they managed to snag that tier 1 early on, but other than that, it's been largely pushing in from the side of VP. Just very good control of the waves overall map.
Oh boy, look at this as well. Look at this Tiny. No one. He's got the AC, the Daedalus, and he's got a bottled DD. DD just then game to beat everything to change it around. Silence jumped on his dream called Silence, jump forward for no one. He's going to keep buying some time from him. Back Karma on the sidelines. He's been able to find the wipe, and this time there won't be any big ult from Solo because he's down for 70. Can VGJ.Thunder find anything more out of this? The army comes out from sideline. The purge onto no one. Roll forward from Fade. Two-man boulder smash onto Ramses and Lil, but Ramses pops the BKB, turns around with the Dragon Tail stun, takes down Fade. Karma zips forward onto no one. He's a little on the mana though, so he has to back up. Pasha keeping Io at bay, making it very hard for the Dazzle to keep that position for those big sort of saves to happen. But Grave himself heads back. Doom was dropped down onto Ramses, but Karma is going to be found out in the tree line. Does manage to get the suicide out. VP again making sure that they take the favorable trade in terms of numbers, getting to only losing one. Did have to commit the Elder Dragon form, but they do have a bit of time left on it. With Creepway pushing in on top, the third set of racks for VGJ.Thunder could be in danger.
Oh yeah, he's got that heart done. No BKB required, and the march begins. They have the gem as well, just to watch for any sort of sneaky Doom plays. And it looks like VP might be able to clean up the Megas right here.
Yeah, this should be absolutely the Megas. They do have a fortification, but with 2 members down, you should claim this. They jump forward, they drop the Dream Coil onto Yang. In the melee racks, a couple of swipes from this Tiny. There we have it. Mega creeps are out for VP. VGJ.Thunder not going to kick the bucket quite yet. They will hold on and see if they can find. No, they won't hold on. They actually they tap out. They see the Megas. With their lineup, of course, we already talked about the issues in terms of pushing waves back out. They don't really have the means to do it. With those out, they'll call the game GG. VP will take game 1 of this series. And impressive showing from VGJ.Thunder in some of those sort of decisions, but overall VP still just looking like the stronger side in terms of just the overall play and the heroes they had as well. The draft seemed very solid from VP.
The Enchantress was just played so well too. Yeah. Honestly, a lot of the supports that used to deal with Enchantress just aren't very popular right now.